Welcome to Staff Works Explained. If it's your first time here, kindly subscribe to this channel. Also, watch other videos that you have done on various topics. We normally do videos that covers different topics, focusing on what is happening in Africa. In our today's video, we'll be asking a question whether Somalia will become the 8th member of the EAC. EAC currently has 7 members, with the latest being the DRC, which joined this year. Somalia has, in several occasions, applied to be admitted to the East African Community, but that application has been rejected twice. There have been renewed interest for the country to join the East African Community with the new president who was elected in May. President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed. He has renewed that call to join the East African Community. He has been quoted telling East Africa's community secretariat to speed up the consideration of his country's application to join the regional bloc. The president has argued that Somalia belongs to the EAC, and there is no country among the EAC partner states that is not linked by business with Somalia, and the existing historical linkages include language and culture. There has been previous verification process which found that Somalia was not qualified as per the EAC treaty. President Mohamud says that Somalia has been working on those areas that were pointed out during the verification process, and they are working tirelessly to remove all the security challenges with the support of some of the EAC member states. Kenya is in Somalia. Kenyan forces are in Somalia trying to restore peace in that country, which has been in turmoil for almost 3 decades. Uganda also has some troops, and other East African countries. The president of Somalia says that the country is a strategic position, and it would benefit the regional bloc significantly through increased movement of goods, services, and people across the bloc. And in addition to that, there is an expanding intra-regional trade with already established Somali business in the region. The president adds that Somalia's long Indian Ocean Red Sea route that links Africa to the Arabian Peninsula is a vibrant economic zone, adding that the exploitation of Somalia's blue economy, resources such as fish and expansive coastline would boost regional economy. East African Secretariat has assured Somalia that it would do its part to make sure that the admission process is expedited in accordance with the procedures of admitting a new member state in the community. The EAC Secretariat is supposed to write to partner states to request nomination for members to constitute the EAC verification process. So this application has already been done. What is remaining is the process of verification. The first time that Somalia applied to join EAC, that application was rejected in 2012, as we'd see. The second application was done in 2019, and that process is still pending. So there has been previous attempts to join EAC. President Mohamud, who has been invited in several meetings as a guest, first made an attempt during his first term that was between 2012 and 2017. He attempted to join the EAC during that term, but that application was rejected or was refused because of the sporadic conflict and weak institutions that were in Somalia then. In 2019, the then President Mohamed Farmajo reapplied alongside the DRC. The bloc decided to start admission of DRC, but delayed the decision on Somalia because the verification process has not been done to determine its readiness. The summit noted that the verification process for admission of Somalia had not taken place, and it directed the Council to follow up the exercise. For Somalia to join EAC, it has to go through a verification process. The process as set out in the 1999 Treaty for Establishment of EAC. It is supposed to meet some conditions which include respect of human rights, good governance, democracy, maintenance of rule of law, respect for human rights and other civil liberties. That process starts with the invitation. Then there is the application which has been done, which was done in 2019. But for that process to continue, there must be a verification process, and this is the most crucial part, because this process involves looking at the country's preparedness as far as joining the East African community is concerned. The verification mission is supposed to review the current status of Somalia with regard to international law, established the country's levels of conformity with the criteria for admission of foreign countries as provided in the EAC Treaty. The EAC Treaty stipulates that as a precondition for admission into the bloc, the summit must verify and ascertain that such new members adhere to the universally accepted principles of good governance, democracy, and rule of law. Other requirements are social justice and observance of human rights under the African Charter on Human Rights and Human and People's Rights. Once acceptance of the EAC as explained in the treaty, it requires adherence to principles of good governance, democracy and the rule of law, and as you have seen, human rights and social justice. It must also prove that it has a potential contribution to the strengthening of integration within East Africa. It should have geographical closeness to and interdependence between the applying country and the EAC member states. This has proved to be the case. The country is geographically close to EAC, being a neighbor to Kenya, and also it has interdependence between the applying country. Between the countries or the other member states. This should also show proof that it has an established and maintained market economy. It should also have social and economic policies that are compatible with the rest, with the rest of the countries in the EAC. Once that has been established, then verification process will a report will be written to the summit, and then other steps will follow. So it will go through approval in various levels, to go to the Council of Ministers, and then to the summit for the final approval. Once the summit is satisfied, once the Council has advised the summit to start the admission process, that will be done. There will be signing of the EAC treaty, then there will be ratification of the agreement or acceding of the agreement, and then the country will become a full member. So that's the process that Somalia is supposed to go. Now the question was whether Somalia will be admitted into EAC. It's highly likely that Somalia will be admitted. There are some indications that EAC is reading Somalia to join them. Somalia president was invited in the 21st summit as a guest, and in that summit he pleaded his case to the head of states for his country to be admitted. Again, we have a new president in Somalia. The former president Farmajo was in conflict with Kenya, and perhaps Kenya is the one that blocked the admission request that has been done in the previous regimes. So with the new government, with the president who is ready to cooperate with other East African countries, perhaps this time Somalia will be lucky and it will be admitted into the EAC. So there are several benefits that, as you have seen, that Somalia may bring, but there are critics that EAC, by Somalia joining, Somalia might not bring much as far as the country is concerned. With the conflict that is ongoing, probably there is a feeling that the whole of East African community will be dragged into those conflicts. Already, the EAC is dealing with the conflict in DRC, so there's a feeling that there would be too much as far as trying to solve these conflicts are concerned, and this may derail the ultimate objectives of the East African community. Remember, the highest pillar as far as this bloc is concerned is to form a political federation. So there's a feeling that this might not be achieved, especially given that we have already admitted too many countries, some of them which are in deep problems. We have South Sudan, which has been in conflict for the last 10 years. We have DRC, the eastern part of it has been in conflict for almost 3 decades, and then Somalia, as people are looking at it from the perspective that we are inviting trouble, and EAC objectives might not be achieved. But it's just a matter of time. There is that the other side which is looking at it from a positive point of view. Perhaps it's a chance for the EAC to take charge, and perhaps Somalia can regain its peace now that we have a new regime which is willing to cooperate with the other members. Perhaps there might be some change. So we'll wait and see whether Somalia will become the 8th member of the EAC, and we'll also be looking to see who else is interested to join the EAC. We'll be looking to see whether Ethiopia, which has all the characteristics of countries which are members of EAC, we'll see whether it will also be willing to join this bloc. So thank you for watching this video. Leave a comment, like the video, share. Also, if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly do so. Thank you for watching.